I'm going to start with a very short practice and let everybody settle in and let us just become present. And then we have quite a full 1 hour together. I almost thought I was packing too much in, but sometimes I prepare with my mind, but the energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that actually guides me. So whatever is extra, it leaves. Whatever is not there that should be there arrives. And partially your energy allows me to do that. So there is my rational mind preparation. Then there is my heart. When it opens, it can access things and information and really sharings that normally I don't have access to. So let us begin with a practice. I want you to bring your hands up very close to your face. And I want you to gently rub them against each other and really look at them and take your full attention to them. And let us take a few deep breaths. Do it as gently as possible. I want you to invite as many sensations as you can. First of all is the sensation of touch. It's one of the Qigong moves that brings energy in to the hands and hence distributes it to the rest of the body. I want you to also listen to the sounds of it. You can take it close to your ears. So it's sensation, sound, and it's also sensitization of our awareness and presence. Arriving in this moment, allowing our fingernails help us become present. See if you can take your breathing 1 degree deeper, whatever that means to you. Breathing gently, breathing kindly. And whenever it feels right for you, you may stop. See if you can close your eyes and notice the energy that this practice may have created for you. Inviting your presence, your awareness. Taking 1 more deep, kind, compassionate, long breath. Taking in a sense of community that probably we are all missing these days. Just imagine the global community that is present right here with you, feeling you, seeing you. And let's take pleasure in that. We have hundreds of people here present. And we'll have probably thousands of people watching it later. So let us acknowledge them as well, wherever they're from. And I want you to ask yourself which aspect of you is going to be present, because there are so many. There's the present Mitra, there's the kind Mitra, there is the, oh, come on, judgmental Mitra. There is so many aspects of us. See which one is more conducive to this session. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. And I want to invite you to actually, not in the middle of sharing, but right now, take your time and click on the arrow in the middle of your screen. If you have a gallery view, if you don't, you can go to the top part of your Zoom where it says view with a lot of dots and see if you can click on gallery. And that way you will see everybody. And then in the middle, you can just click on the arrow and go to the next page and go to the next page and go to the next page. And it's just so beautiful to see so many names, so many faces from so many places. So, all right, we've done that. Now we can come back. If you wish, we can go to the view again and put it on the speaker, or you want to keep it in the gallery. It's up to you, but those are your choices. So I just wanted to share that because sometimes people say, we didn't say anybody. So I wanted to say how to do that. All right. So why are we here? Why today? Last year, didn't we do it just before the new year? So energetically speaking, actually today is far more important of a day than the New Year's Eve and the start of the new year, which is about a week away. The reason for that is that naturally, meaning nature, is marking this day as an important day. Today, as many of you know, is the longest night of the year. And after tonight, then days are going to be longer and nights are going to get shorter. This means a lot to me because I was raised in a tradition that actually had a huge celebration around this day. It's called Yalda in Persian culture. And I hear in many other cultures. I'm only familiar with what I grew up with. And basically what it is the celebration. We call it the birth of light. It's the celebration of light becoming stronger and victorious, for lack of a better word, over darkness. So we take it as a symbolic beginning, as a time to review things, as a time to see where we can bring our light and make sure that the light that we're interested in takes over the darkness without or within us or around us. I mean, there's darkness everywhere and there's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, can we use this time? So that's why today. And why endings? Everybody is celebrating the beginning, and here I am being a contrarian and talking about endings. I've done a whole course on that, and people, I see a lot of familiar faces here, they know that endings, in my view, is a very important aspect. In fact, is a prerequisite to beginning. We are taught, especially in the Western culture, how to initiate, how to begin, how to start. Everybody's encouraging us, but very rarely we speak about how to end things in a more mindful way. Endings, transitions, changes are things that we usually are not interested in. However, they are very much aspect of our life, part of our life. In fact, life is changing all the time. And if it wasn't changing, it wouldn't be called life. There's a story that I say in Inner Map, our app, that is about the fact that a client of mine taught me about the importance of change in everyday life. I'll tell you the short story. My client was passing, and I had promised this client that I would be in the room when they unplug the vitals to her body. And I fulfilled my promise and I was there. And she had asked me to just sit there and just be in the room. So I was in the room, one of very few people who were in the room. And as I was watching the monitor, the heart monitor going up and down, and then at the moment that they disconnected that, I realized that, oh my God, that stopped, and that up and down, that changeable graph turned into one continuous line. And I had a really amazing, insightful moment. And I thought, in my view, that was the gift that I received by being in the room. And that was to understand that life is this. Life is this. When life left, it was this. So we want continuity, we want life, we want vitality, but we don't want the change. But they come together. Change is life. And that is part of this whole understanding that endings are important. In fact, endings are what really tell us and what sets the stage for starting? How are we ending? And we have many endings. We ended a lot of what we called normals in our life. We did it 1.5, 2 years ago, and we thought it was a temporary thing. We get it over and done with. Seems like it's an ongoing thing. And if there is one message in this particular experience, common collective experience, that we need to take to heart, is that everything is changing. And unless we get somehow comfortable with changes and learn to end things and wrap things properly and transform and transit into something new, then we will be suffering all the time. So hence the ending. Let's take a deep breath and see where we are. Are you present? Are you here? Let's see. Good. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. How do we know here that we're here? I know my body is here. We are here when our attention and our physical body meet. So I am here and my attention is also here with you. So I know that I'm present. Am I 100% present? No, probably not. And that's okay. But if I'm 80% present, if I'm 50%, if I'm 30% present, I'm doing well, believe me, because most of the time we're not here, we're not present. So that's why ending, why I brought that subject up and what we're going to be talking about. So let us all take a breath. I hope you all have pen and paper. We're going to need them later on if there's any time left. And let's see, how do we end properly? Mitra, do you know about my life? Do you know what's going on? Are you joking me? Mindfully ending 2021? You don't know all the things that I've gone through. True, I don't, but I can just imagine that it's been a very turbulent year. I want to acknowledge that. I want to honor that it's been a very challenging time. And for all of us, some are harsher, harder, some are easier, but nevertheless, it's been hard. However, there are some things that we can do, or there are ways that we can be. So there's the being and there's the doing that actually help us to go through transitions and end things properly. One of my major endings for this year is, if you have ever done any work with me, you all know Megan Mann. She's here. Megan, just wave your hand. And you can't cry today, okay? She has been with me for a long, long time, and she's moving on and she's leaving my company. She's been my right hand. She's been my heart. She's been everything to me. She's like a daughter to me. There's no title I can tell you that she has. There you go. She disappeared. She's crying, and she's moving on to another country, and she's going. And we're just really tending to this ending so beautifully. If you are on my social media, you've seen this statement that has been going around, that love sometimes means to let in, and sometimes it means to let go. And I am letting her go, not that I have a choice, but I'm letting her go so lovingly, because it's good to end things. It's been wonderful, but there are times to end everything. So that's my major ending for this year. And I'm really doing it happily. With one eye, I'm crying, and with one eye, I am smiling, because they're all good. It's always good. Change is always good. So let's talk about the being aspect. How can we end things properly? And why don't we end things properly? Well, from the doing aspect, from the physical aspect of our resistance to end things, and things that are even not serving us. How many people in past 36 years, it's going to be 37 from next month, 36 years, have told me, oh, it was a horrible, fill in the blank, job, relationship, place that I was staying, anything. But I'm so worried that it's ending or has ended. And I say, but you said it wasn't serving you. But they say, oh yeah, but the reason for that is that we've never been prepared for ending things. We don't have role models. We haven't been taught. We haven't been shown. In fact, we are almost groomed for this life as if everything is permanent. And nobody has taken the impermanent nature of life into consideration when they were grooming us, when they were raising us, when they were teaching us and guiding us. So we don't like it. It's not serving us. There, as I said, whatever it is, the relationship, the job, the place, the home, the experience, but still we're holding on to it. So that's one reason. From the physical perspective, we don't end things properly because we just don't know how. We haven't been taught how. The assumption of our teachers and parents and guardians have been that life is permanent and nothing changes, so you'll be fine. I've done this for you and you'll be okay. Happily ever after is the end of most romantic stories, that they lived happily ever after. Really? Really? Yeah. Anyway, maybe it's possible somewhere, but I haven't seen it on 4 continents yet. So that's the physical aspect of it. Oh, here, Megan is back. Did you cry well, Megan? Good. From the mental aspect is our belief system. From our belief system and the way we see life as a thing that we do, and it needs to just be the way it is. We go after perfectionism. We have ideas of how things should be, must be, actually, not just should be, must be. And as a wonderful wise person say, we masturbate all the time. We tell ourselves we must do this, we must go there, we must. And these musting is really harsh on our system and doesn't allow flexibility. And from energetic perspective, which is my focus always in my teaching, is that we lack balance. There are many reasons. I don't want to say this is the only reason, but this is the one that I have experienced, and this is the one that I have witnessed. And that is that we lack energetic balance. What do I mean by that? So if you take it from the perspective of nature, there are 4 main forces in nature that we somehow embody in ourselves. There is the earth, there is the fire, there is the air, and there is the water. And they are symbolic, and I don't want to get too deep into them because this is not the venue for it. It's probably a 6-week course that I can teach on it, but in a gentle way, I want to touch on it. And I really want you to touch on it as lightly as possible, not get analytical and what is the nature of them and why this, why that. Just look at it in a gentle way. It's a symbolism that allows us to see ourselves in a better way. And looking at these 4 main energies or forces in life, we usually connect naturally with one of them in a major way. Like some people say, I'm all fire. Believe it or not, I am all fire. My sign is fire. People who do astrological things, they tell me it's all fire. I'm full of ideas. They have to, my team members, and I think some of them are here. Let me see, Jen is here, Vicky is here, so I want to acknowledge them too. They all tell me that I'm like always coming up with like, I've got fire going. So that is fantastic, but you know, if I have too much fire, then I will be burning. So a good thing can turn into not very good thing, a healthy thing, a wonderful thing, a passionate thing can turn into something that is not helpful and healthy, either for me or people around me. I'm very cognizant of the fact that people around me, I always need to settle down. In fact, my partner has a lot of earth. I think he's here too. He has a lot of earth. So that's a fantastic way of balancing ourselves. I'm always into like, oh, ideas, let's go. And he's like, let's talk, let's see, let's breathe. So I know many of you don't see that because I ground myself a lot. That's why actually I was attracted to this practice, but that's my natural. So I want to just take a few moments with you and invite you all to become a little bit more present. And I want you to just gently ask yourself, wonder, don't worry, just wonder. I wonder what my natural energy is. What is my disposition? Disposition. What is my natural disposition? What is my natural default energy? And see if anything comes up for you. Are you more earth? And by earth, I mean you're more grounded, you're more a little bit logical, you're into physicality, you like touch. Are you more air? Air is a lot of expansiveness, a lot of ideas, unlimitedness. Are you more fire? A lot of passion, a lot of energy, little patience. Do you connect more with water? Water flows, takes in a lot of things, doesn't get stuck with many things, finds ways, goes over, goes under, goes through when it comes across a block or an obstacle. So just gently inquire, I wonder what is my default energy? And see if you can just type it in the chat for Megan and I. Definitely fire. Oh, we have a lot of fires here. Woo, fire, fire, fire. Oh my God, maybe it's air and water. Great. Definitely air. Okay, Deborah is definitely air. Water. We've got one water. Who was water? We didn't have any water. Water, Cindy. Oh, good. We have water. Laurie, water. Anna, water. Lisa, air. Okay. So as you see, that's very interesting. I wonder if you can save this chat. I'm very interested to know what is the, more common energy there. So this is fantastic. And there's nothing wrong, and there's no preferred energy, and there's no better and worse, there's no bad and good, there's no wrong and right here. It's just understanding what your natural energy is. And what's that got to do with ending, I wonder, because we said how to end 2021 mindfully. Well, it's got to do with the fact that when one energy is more dominant, it's harder to end something in a balanced way. It is that balanced energy when we are in a balanced state. In the world of mindfulness, they call it equanimity. When we are in equanimity, which is exactly what I'm speaking about, when we have a bit of water, we have a bit of earth, we have a bit of fire, we have a bit of air, then it makes it much easier to look at our experiences of the past year, in this case, past in general, in general sense of life, and then be able to do what past is good for. And as you know, past is only good for one thing, and that is a point of reference for learning. Your past, my past tell us what is good for us, what we can continue, what we can stop, and what we can start, basically. So it's a point of learning. I did this didn't help. I did that, it was wonderful. When I do this, this happens. I'm not this. So you go to the past, but you go with a balanced energy. And that allows you to look at this year in a completely different way than when you are in a not balanced position. So let's see if we are not balanced. So let's say I have a lot of fire. And ending, how does that feel like? Well, ending becomes just too challenging because I have so much going on, either the fire for what has taken place or fire for what is to come, that doesn't allow me to really swim in these beautiful, delicious waters of end of the year. We still have time. We still got, it's all symbolic. We always have time, but we have time to really end this beautiful book, as challenging as it was, 2021 book, in a gentler, more mindful way. But we can only do that when we sit in the position of balance, when we can actually see it with a set of eyes that can give us that sense of balance. So Let's see. Are there any questions? Anybody has any questions before I'll go to the next part? Because I know I introduced these ideas and then people have questions. Let's see.
We have Mara Mitra. Mara Rochelle, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. So I'm wondering if you're going to be saying, how do you acquire the balance of the four?
Thank you. Yes, I have a shortcut and I have a long way. I'm going to share both of them with you. Thank you, Mara. Yes, Richard, unmute yourself.
What's the difference between fire, which is me pretty much, and air? That's
Great.
confusing me a little bit.
Sure. So actually, and I know you're fire, Richard. I remember you in the class. I agree with you. So, so fire and earth are siblings. They're very close. And air and water are siblings, and they're all cousins. They're all related. So fire is more passion. It's more energy. It's more, let's go. Air is more expansiveness. So fire is more concentrated energy and air is more scattered energy. In fact, fire and air can work very well together, because if you come up with a lot of ideas, so air has a lot of ideas, air is like, but it's not practical. Air is like always in the air. Like it's not grounded, like it's not an energy that is good for application. It's a good energy for inspiration and creation. So that's air. And fire and earth are more of energies that bring it back and apply it and do it. Does that make sense? Did that answer you? Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah, air is great. And you can see that there is really an amazing properties about these energies, at least symbolically speaking, that when we pay attention to it, and I don't want to get all like mystical about it, I just want you to have a point of reference. So I know when I like get rigid about something or I'm burning in something, I say, ooh, too much fire. And I take a breath and I think, I wonder what energy, which one of those other three energies will be more helpful. And I may not even know what I'm talking about. The fact that I, first of all, noticed one energy is out of balance, that is amazing. So that's the first thing that is amazing. The second thing that is amazing is that whatever that means to me, so I may say I need more air, and you may say, and even though we're both fire, you may say, no, that's not true, we need water. And that's, as I said, you can't do it wrong. The fact that you've gone out of your fire, the fact that you are paying attention even to the image of air and water, that allows you, because as you know, imagination is half of all of these things. It allows you to go beyond your fireness or your earthiness. So when we have too much earth, for instance, a lot of people said earth is a little bit too much of a grasping. The people who are earthy, they have like earth as their dominant. If they're not aware, they can't let go. Every letting go, and by letting go, I'm talking about the toothpaste that is finished to the home that is not serving them. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's hard to let it go. Letting go is a problem because they're attached to it. They're very earth. They're very solid. It has solidified whatever the experience is in their awareness. So that's how you look at it. And again, it is, if your explanation is different, it's fine. But I just want you to think about it from the collective balance point of view. I wonder, what is my main energy right now? And anytime that you are suffering, anytime that you are not feeling at ease, I can guarantee you that you are out of balance in one energy or another. So that question is a very, very skillful question. And the moment you ask it, you've already started the resolution, if you like. Anything after that is the extra gift that you give yourself. Because I realized by just thinking about my energy as a dominant energy, as a collective balance, part of a bigger kind of energy, I have actually brought awareness to it. And awareness is the first step to the balance. I just realized, I always say the moment of awareness of any imbalance is the moment of balance. Because I just realized that I am out of balance in some area. So yeah, let me see. I have some questions, I think, here. How does
Yes.
water, air, fire let go versus earth? Okay, good question. Christy is asking, how do they let go? So water, letting go is the easiest thing for water. Just think about water as in its nature, in its natural setting, not the water that we have trapped in our bottles, but the water as it runs in the nature. So water is going on the stream, an ocean, it comes across things and no problem, there's no conflict, goes around it, goes under it, so it goes through it, finds a way. If there's a hole, it goes through it. Letting go is fine. There is very little conflict in water energy. In fact, water people do not like conflict. It does something else. Water also washes the conflict or the thing that comes on its way. It's very interesting symbolically, as you know, in many isms, there's a lot of rituals around water, washing off with water. So, however, when you let go of things too easily, too much, out of balance, a wonderful, healthy thing, when it's out of balance, is actually not helpful. So that's interesting to know. Then you're letting go of too many things easily, not really getting the essence of them, not really embodying them. You need a bit of earth there. You need a bit of fire there. You need a bit of passion there. You can't just let go of everything. Air lets go of things also easily. Air is like air. It's, you can air things very easily. And again, as I said, the air and water are very similar. They're siblings. An air person who has an energy as air as their default, they may let go of things too easily. They may not hold on to things long enough. So that's air. Fire burns things along with things that have stayed with them. So fire lets go, but it may burn itself and things around it if it's too much in its fire energy. The good thing about fire is fire has a little bit of a more opening than earth. Fire, because it's fire, it needs to get things. So it's open to receiving. And hopefully as part of receiving, it is receiving some air and some balancing energy, whatever it needs, some air or water. Earth, as I said, is the energy that you need to be more conscious of how and if you're letting go of things that are no longer serving you. Having said all of that, we all potentially have all these energies. There is not like they gave me, 1 pound and they gave you 3 pounds. It's not like that. It's what we have activated because of our genetics and because of our environment. We have activated that more, but it doesn't mean we don't have it. It's like we all have it in the bank. We just haven't cashed it in. So don't think, I don't have air. I just don't have air. It's amazing. It's amazing when I can have awareness and I can access, I can embody earth, I can embody water, I can embody air as if I was born all that. So you can access everything. Do not allow this distinguishments that we have. I am fire, you are this, you are that, to allow you to think that that's what you are and that's what you cannot, change, because that just means that's your starting point. That's all it means, nothing more than that. Because of whatever, because of my experiences, because of my environment, because of my genetics, okay, I have more access to that, but it doesn't mean that other things are not accessible to me. How does this, very good question. Sandy is asking, how does this relate to mindfully ending 2021? You must have not been here, Sandy, in the beginning. We're saying part of the reason we cannot end things mindfully is because we do not hold the balance in ourselves. So when I have too much passion, when I have too much of things, we either let go of the year without benefiting from it, or we don't let go of it in difficult, challenging experiences, or pleasant and comfortable experiences. And the way we end anything, and specifically this year in a mindful way, is that what we do is we bring a sense of balance to look at our year with from the outlook, from the point of view of balance. That's how it connects. And thank you for that question. I should have clarified, because I know a lot of people are joining as I'm speaking. That's how it relates to mindfully ending 2021. We were talking about how there is the energetic aspect of it, and then there are other aspects, and this is the energetic aspect. Energetically, we do not end things because we do not have that balance in that moment. And when we do, it becomes easier to end things. So let me just ask you one more question, and then I'll introduce. Let me just become aware of the time. Oh my God, time is flying. Let me just ask you to close your eyes for a second. Just gently bring to your awareness that which you thought is your default energy, or that which you're experiencing right in this moment. And just gently name that and allow that earth, fire, water, air to go gently to the background. And now bring to your awareness all these 4 elements. See the visuals of water, water running. Bring to your awareness visuals of earth, solid, grounded, strong. Bring to your awareness air, whatever visuals come to your awareness. Expansive, unlimited, flowing, free, liberated. Bring to your awareness the elements of fire, heat, passion, energy. And honor whatever energy is more present for you right now. This is not a problem we want to solve. And just gently ask yourself, if I had access to any energy, what would balance me better in this moment? Do you need more water? Water is very, very easygoing. Water is cleansing. Water is fluid, moving. What about air? Maybe you just need to let go, be a little bit freer, a bit more expansive. Or would a little bit of energy assist you? A bit more passion, a bit of oomph. Or groundedness. Whatever. Just gently choose 1 or 2 and see if you can, like a friend, invite them. You know, we don't have very busy social lives these days. Invite these energies. Come to me. And see how and if that assists you in balancing your energy a little bit more. And just know that these questions are always available to you. I wonder what energy am I experiencing right now when you feel uncomfortable? And I wonder what energy will balance me more. So I gently invite you to open your eyes whenever it serves you and whenever it's comfortable for you. And this was a short practice that you can always do. And by just bringing the visuals of a complementing and balancing energy into your awareness, you have taken the second step. The first step is awareness. The second step is the visuals of the balancing. And the third step is to just gently ask yourself, if I had more air, if I had more water, if I was more flowy and liberated and free and not confrontational, how would I fill in the blank? How would I be in this relationship? How would I be experiencing this? How would I be going through this project? How would I be walking? How would I be talking? How would I be speaking? How would I be eating differently? So that's a very gentle, what I could put in the 1 hour time that we have together. So first is the awareness of the imbalance, which usually comes when we're not comfortable. Second one is the visuals, and you cannot do this wrong. There is no wrong imagination. Imagination of a potential balancing energy. And 3 is asking yourself, and believe me, your mind would like to answer every question you have. You just need to ask right questions of it. And asking yourself, I wonder if I had that energy, if I had that balance, if I had access to this and this and that, how would I? Asking yourself that. So this is the 3 steps that I can share in such a short period of time. But I have a cheat sheet for you. There is one thing that we can do that none of these actions are necessary. There is a one balancing energy that allows everybody to come to the point of balance at any given time. And that is the energy of love, the 5th element. The 5th element is the energy of love. And please understand, I'm not speaking of love from the point of view of emotions. It's not I love you. It's not point of view of need. I need love. That's a different love. I love pizza too, but that's not the love that I'm speaking about. I'm talking about love as a state of being, as a place that we can stand. And I think the invitation of these pandemic events have somehow taken us closer to that state, understanding that point of unity that we have come from, understanding that we are all contagious, both in our disease viruses and in our love and compassion and anything, service that we can offer each other. So that's the point of love that I'm speaking about. It's beyond I love you and I love my kids and I love this food and I love going there. It's even beyond I love my partner and I love my family. It's a love as an understanding, I've been listening to Thich Nhat Hanh because my partner has been listening to Thich Nhat Hanh teachings. And there was one beautiful statement that I read in a book, very small book, I can't remember, it was about love. And Thich Nhat Hanh says that, there's a bit of energy going through me. Understanding is a second name for love. So when we start to understand each other, which really what we're talking about is understanding of our suffering and pain. That's what we're talking about. Understanding that we are all, even those who are hurting us or hurting each other or hurting themselves, they are in pain and suffering. So in that state, in that understanding, then we arrive at a place. And I know because I have been in that moment, I don't live there, but I visit that place quite often when I'm aware and when I practice and when I really go to the place of love and position of love. It's a position. So these are the 4 elements, and there it sits on top of these elements. And once you go to that energy of love, it automatically, it's the cheat sheet. You don't need to balance, you don't need to go to water, you don't need to, it just immediately you arrive at a point of balance. So that's the easiest way, but you need to let go of your judgments and bad and good and wrong and higher and lower and these people who believe this and Republicans and liberals and you got to let go of all of that, which is hard. Don't think I don't know, but it's there. And then that you arrive at the automatic, easy, very easy place of balance. So that's the cheat sheet that I have when I get fed up with my own practices. I say, well, let me try love. Maybe that's easier because usually being is much easier than doing. Doing is like, I got to do this and I got to do that. Oh, got fire there. Oh my God, there's earth there. But love, when you go there and wherever you enter is good. You can enter love by loving yourself. You can enter love by loving somebody that is in pain. You can enter love by somebody that you don't have love for anywhere. I mean, there are practices for all of these, but really understanding that that state exists. Believe me, many people have arrived there. Maybe not, live there forever, but arrive there. So it is possible. And once you go there, it's so delicious. It is so delicious. And I know that many of you are smiling. I know you are people who probably have visited just like I have visited there. And it's like, why do we do anything else? Why do I live in any other way? So allow me to do this. Let me just check. I have a message. I want to make sure that there's nothing. Reminders after. Oh, yes, sorry. Okay, before we do this practice, because I want to ask you some questions. I think Megan has something to share with you. Yes, go ahead, Megan, and then I'll have a practice for everybody. Go ahead.
Great. So before we're going into the closing of the event, I just want to make a few announcements that we have the next live class starting January 22nd. So if you're enjoying a live event with Mitra, that would be your next opportunity. And that is to get your overthinking under control. And that overthinking under control. And that is with UCLA in collaboration. And I'll put the link in the chat. We also have pre-recorded classes in the store and gift cards for the holidays. And we've kind of with the team created a new bundle package to get you started. So you can check it out if you wish. And Mitra is going to be launching the Attentionist Training Program in 2022, which is exciting. So if you want to get on the list to be notified more about that, it's not on her website yet, so the link will be in the chat. And you can put in your email and you'll get notified when there's more details. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Actually, we put it on the website early this morning. And it's a funny word. I made up that word and trademarked that word, attentionist, because I feel like that's the missing piece, that we don't really manage our attention. And the reason I did that, I just wanted to tell you, because so many people, as you know, we teach and groom UCLA teachers at UCLA Mark program. And so many people reached out and wanted to learn how I do the mindfulness-based coaching. So there's very limited coaching programs available, a lot of teaching programs, but not coaching programs. And honestly, I just could not groom one by one. So I said, okay, give me some time. And I was almost pushed to develop a program to teach people to do basically what I do, either for themselves for 3 months of the 5-month program. It's just working on yourself, really coaching yourself. And then if you want to do it as a profession, then you can do it and learn how to become a mindfulness-based coach and be an attentionist ambassador. So thank you, Megan, for that share. I would have forgotten completely. So let us take a deep breath together. And I want you to just use your imagination, and please use your imagination, not your logical, rational mind. We have no application for it right now. So just connect to your imagination, and let's just imagine all hundreds of people that are here are in that state. Imagine that we are in the state of love, where we understand that that state is available. That state actually is our natural state, believe it or not. It's not our normal state, but it's our natural state of being, where you have access to balance, where you can hold all these energies. You can feel your groundedness, you can feel your expansiveness, you can feel your flexibility, you can feel your passion. And from that point, I want to pose some questions to you that might be helpful to take you to end this year properly and enter 2021 in a different way. And here I had many questions, but I'm going to ask just a few of them. When I ask, I want you to ponder, and when you're ready, you open your eyes and write your answers, and then I'll pause and I pose the next question to you. So here's my first question. Write down 3 things, or 1 thing will do too, maximum 3 things, that you wished you did this year. I want you to gently look at it and see, what does that tell you about you? And don't forget, we're doing this with the energy of love. There's no judgment. There's no admonishment. There's just love. I wonder what this tells me. Take a breath. And let's go to the next question. The next question is, what are 3 heartfelt thank yous that you forgot to say and share with people? Allow that to come with a smile. This is not about regret. It's about, oops, I got busy, sorry. I could call and thank this person. I could text that person. I can send a card. There's still time. It's amazing what thank yous mean, especially when it's specific. When I say thank you for, and I become specific. Next question. 3 things you forgot to celebrate. Still time though. We have 7 days, 7 times 24 hours. Those are a lot of hours. 3 things you forgot to celebrate. Please look for small things. Not all of us win Nobel Prizes, but we all have beautiful small wins that bring exactly same emotion and energy and frequency as a Nobel Prize. That's available to all of us. 3 things I forgot. Oh, I forgot to celebrate. I'm really bad at that. Next one is a little bit challenging, but remember, we're in a very heartfelt love state. 3 people that you forgot to forgive, including yourself, for little things. Because I gave you way and you didn't say thank you. And I still hold it as an energy. And next time I want to give way to somebody, I say, no, I remember the last one. And you don't know how heavy that energy is. You think it's something small, but it's not. It's stopping you from accessing your love, balancing energy. So, free forgiveness. Pick the light ones, very light ones. If it's very hard, then just process, beginning the process. That's all we need. If it's something historical and I need to forgive somebody, all I want to do is to start it. That's all. Because it might take a while. But isn't it wonderful? Isn't that an amazing way of ending this year? What a souvenir to take to the new year. I started the process, or I did forgive. And this forgiveness also, I want to go back to Thich Nhat Hanh's words, that takes understanding. Because when we understand the suffering of everybody, then we understand this chain of suffering, then we understand the wrongdoings that potentially people have done towards us. It all came from their own suffering. It's not a justification, but it's an understanding of what can happen when we forgive. It's a gift. It's a true gift. I have many questions, but I'm going to ask one more question. And that is 3 things that you can donate. And the boy things, because the moment I say that, people say, I don't have many things. And by the way, I don't have a lot of money. I'm not talking about money. We can donate in 3 ways. It could be a physical thing, including money. It could be a thought, just a loving kindness thought. Or it could be an energetic thing that I actually sit there, go out of my way, hold you in my awareness, and send you loving kindness, wish you. I think AKA, I think they call it prayer, don't they? That's what prayer is. Now we have science. Science shows, wisdom knows, but science shows that prayer works. Completely irrelevant of the religious background and what it is and which God they're, worshiping. The fact that a group of people sit and wish somebody else some well-being, that energetically works. So your donation could be like that. That could be it. A lot of people I know that participated today, and I'm very thankful for that. You have donated some money. People donated $2, over $5. Some people donated, $100. I don't know if Chris is here. People did $50, $5. It doesn't matter. And some people just sent a thank you. And they're all beautiful. They're all effective. It makes some people just showed up. That's a gift. That's a donation. You're donating your presence to us. And I'm grateful for that. So donation, it doesn't need to be always a money thing so that stops us. We either don't have it or don't have access to our generosity. But if we just say, you know what, smile, let's smile. Smile is a donation. Smile is a donation. You walk on the street, and believe me, I've done all of these very unscientific research on my own. Just walk and smile at people and see what happens. Just go smile, and people go like this, like, oh, they change their face. It's like, smile for no reason. Wow, free smile. So looking at donation from different perspective, you could be walking. I remember at my when there was an office that I would go to, I would go for my lunch hour for a walk and just randomly pick people, especially people who, people walk like this and they're not happy on their face. I would just randomly pick somebody and say, may you have a great day. May you resolve whatever you stuck on. May your anger goes away. May you have a lot of smiles. In my head, I would say. And if I tell you how many times somebody would come and say, excuse me, And then they didn't know what to say because what they were saying, I felt something energetically. These are things that we just said, no, like logical people don't talk about these things. I say, yes. And they would say, do I know you? I would say, I don't think so, but I wanted to say, yes, we all know each other energetically. Yes. And I know exactly why you're asking this question because I just sent you. But if I said that, you know, the conversation would go to a different place. They would say like, oh, is she okay? Is she like, you know? So I would say, yeah, thank you. And say, oh, all right, have a nice day anyways. I would say, yeah, you too. But I know that they picked up on something. All of a sudden, like 5 people in like 1 hour will ask me if they know me. It's that. So that's the donation that I'm talking about. And of course, that makes me feel good too. It's not just what I donated to them. It's also what they donated to me. It's always a dance and it's always exchange. So I'm going to open the chat for questions and let Megan guide us in some questions because we still have some time and I would like to, the whole questions.
Oh, no, Mitra, those were some people asked if I could write the questions you asked in the chat.
Oh, I see. Okay, great.
So, but I do have a couple questions from before.
Okay, go ahead.
So let me just get up there. Is there a link between dominating energies and the Myers-Briggs personality type?
Oh my God, I could do it's a great topic actually to do it. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. But you see, it's very interesting. If you look at all of these personality things, they are all in somehow numbers got to do with 4. It's 4, 16, 32, if you see, because the base of them, I love numbers, so you asked the right question. The base of them is 4. And then you can then divide, and then there's a combination of any of this. So what happens when I'm fire and air? What happens when I'm water and this? So there is that, that's where the combinations come from. Yes, there is a, yeah, that's a base. The energies are the base. And that's why it's 4, 16, 32, and so on and so forth. Yeah, great question.
So one other was a share. It's interesting because my chart is one thing, all earth and fire, but I feel like the opposite energy, mostly water and air.
Great. Okay. So, okay, let me explain what happens. There is the natural disposition, then there is the conditional disposition, right? So if I was, for instance, I had my booster, so I am fire by natural disposition, but then condition made me become like completely water. So if in that moment you asked me, why aren't you fire? Where is the fire? I would say, well, I don't know. I think there's a problem. There's no problem. There's the conditions. Then there is the disposition. And then the third one, most important one that we rarely use is the free will. So what do I do with the disposition? What do I do with the condition and make the soup that I would like to have? And it's a soup or salad, depending on what you want. So that's that.
That's it from my side that I have in the chat.
Okay, Richard has a question.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I have a couple of shares. One is, I'll try to be quick. I'm retired, so I go to the library regularly, and they can't keep all the books, so there's a lot of free books. So I saw this one. It's called A Simple Act of Gratitude, and it's by an attorney. And he decided that he described that he was in the worst shape. Everything was failing, everything, and divorced, all this stuff. And he decided that he was going to say thank you every day to somebody. And I didn't finish the book, but I got the gist of what he was doing. And when you said, thank yous not made, I have found that I'm doing a lot more thank yous since I read the book. And I probably at least a thank you type thing every day, more than one per day. And I'm not thinking about it. I'm just doing it now, and it's kind of interesting. The other share is you agreed that my nature is fire, but I'd like to say that, I asked a lot about the second or air, and when you said it, I started to get very agitated and uneasy because I feel like my nature is to be fire sign, but I'm afraid that everybody will see me as an airhead, judge me for being that way. And it's interesting. I'm really pondering that quite a bit. That the air is my stumbling. That's where I stumble because I feel like I'll be judged if I expose any air.
Wow. So may I share that our Richard here is an attorney. He's a retired attorney. So it's very understandable that you're afraid of the judge. So I just wanted to say that. However, first of all, thank you for the first share. That was amazing about the thank you. And you're right, it works. But also, that's an important point, and I really want to take everybody's attention to that. So we have these judgments, and that's fine, we all do. The question is one of these judgments that we have is holding us back from our balanced position? Because if I think air is for airheads, or fire is for this, or earth is for people who never want to move and they never do anything, then all these, so I'm taking my imbalanced words and beliefs and stopping myself from my energetic balancing. And believe me, I know, and I wish I could ask people to raise their hands, how many people can relate to that? I immediately could relate to that. I have my own judgments about, like, other energies, but that's one of the reasons. And that's why the ultimate energy is the love energy, because when I'm standing in love, it's very, very difficult to go to my judgmental place. In fact, judgment comes from, as you know, Richard, because you've taken many of my classes, judgment comes from fear. I mean, you judge because you have fear. What if you said it? What if I have some air and they see me and they say, like, he's airhead, right? So love and fear are opposite energy. When there's love, there's no fear. In fact, opposite of love is fear, not hate. So my invitation to everybody is to take this opportunity and allow the share that Richard had with us. And thank you for being vulnerable, Richard, to really see, where is my judgment? What is the judgment that I have, or what are the judgments that I have that are stopping me from bringing balance? Because I may have known one airhead person, and now I'm thinking, if I bring any air, I'll be like this person. And that stops me from the fear, from really bringing that energy and that balance into me. So that was a great share. Thank you. I appreciate it. Meron?
We have two more, but I just want to notify you we are also at time.
At time. So how do we do this? Do we let people who want to leave? And I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna stay over and just answer 2 questions. But before we go to questions, allow me to thank you for your presence. Thank you for even caring about ending this year mindfully. And thank you for wanting to do things in a different way. This is an energetically, and that's, I keep emphasizing, because sometimes where we're going and the energy of the universe are really cooperative with each other. They are cooperating. And this is one of those times. In fact, in the tradition I come from, right after I see my clients today, we're going to gather, and we usually don't sleep until the morning. I don't think I can handle that tonight, but that's the idea, that you go and welcome the light and the arrival, the birth of light, as we call it. So allow this to be a symbolic beginning for you, where you pay attention, your most valuable property and asset that you have, your attention. If you doubt that, just go and see how much it costs to do an ad for 30 seconds. You will find out there is nothing, no real estate more expensive than your attention in the entire world. And then you pay your attention in a very, very knowing way to the light, to the love that will allow you to really feel what you want to feel. Because everything we want, everything we're pursuing, regardless of where you are in life and what your desired outcome is, you are desiring a state of being. And that state of being does not have suffering in it. And until and unless you realize that and you let go of that fear-based survival mode, there is no thing in the world that will bring you what you're seeking, because what you're seeking is a state of being, not state of having or state of doing, even though having and doing might help it. So have a wonderful 2021. These questions are available. I can actually add more questions, and maybe I'll type them and give them to Megan to send it with the recording of this session. And you have more questions to ponder on your own. But as far as I'm concerned, I love you, and I want to leave you with these thoughts and the potential that the ending this year mindfully holds, and welcoming 2022 will hold later on in a week's time. So I'm going to stay over, say goodbye to those who have to leave, honor their time, and answer the 2 questions that I had. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for your loves, for your hearts. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, what are the questions, Megan?
Sure. And I'll just make a correction. Actually, Jen is the one that creates those beautiful emails that you receive in your inbox. So she will be putting the questions in there. So watch your inbox for the rewatch link again. Don't forget. We will be sending it out. It will be available for 24 hours after we send it. I had a lot of questions about that. And you will get the questions that Mitra asked. So the questions that I received, I actually received 3. You committed to 2, so it's up to you for the 3rd one. Is there a link between dominating energies and, oh, I already said that one. Want to forgive without going through a long, sad discussion. How?
Well, you don't even need the sad discussion, because I assume you're assuming that forgiveness requires the participation of the other person. This forgiveness that we speak about has got nothing to do with them. It's a one-person job, and you do it on your own. What you do is you forgive yourself, you forgive them, and you can only do that when you actually get the lesson that was supposed to be learned from this. How do we know that's the ultimate lesson? Doesn't matter. Any lesson will do. So ask yourself, what was my learning from this experience? And who am I ready to let go of and forgive? If you can't forgive, don't start with forgiveness. Start with the potential of one day forgiving, the ability to forgive. And when you start by asking for forgiveness of somebody else, it allows you to be able to forgive other people, because I call it itizing. We make other people an it, and it becomes very difficult to forgive them. They become this horrible monster. So how can I forgive them? But when we understand their suffering, and I understand that, oh my God, I did a similar thing, or I did something inappropriate to somebody else and I hurt them too. So I understand that somebody else might have done it to me. So you really make it simple and easy. Start very, very small. I apologize for not seeing the car that I went in front of. And that's a good place to start asking for forgiveness. And then I'll ask for forgiveness somewhere else. And then the giving forgiveness is the same. You start with something very small. I forgive you for forgetting to come to lunch, right? Or being late. I start there, and then I forgive the fact that, I don't know, my mother or somebody else that is more close to you, that did this and that. So start small. Start small. Start with you asking for forgiveness. And 3, If forgiveness is hard, leave it. Don't go at it, because it just gets you deeper and more into anger. Go somewhere simpler with somebody else. Once you're in that space of forgiveness and that experience feels right, then you can gently move to harder and harder and closer people, because they are more activating normally for us. Short answer to a very deep question. Next.
How can we use the understanding of these energies to improve sleep and end the day well?
Fantastic question. I wish I had answered that earlier on. So it's exactly the same way. I have too much fire. I beg my family members, do not speak to me about interesting stuff at the end of the day, because I know myself. I'm going to go with the idea, and of course, I'm not going to go to sleep. So really learning how to retire from the day is an art that you start a few hours before. Anything provoking. What do I mean by provoking? Provoking to your senses, anything provoking your eyes, anything provoking your ears, provoking your mind, memory, problem solving, interesting ideas. All of these need to stop. If you say, imagine you go to sleep at 10, they need to stop around 7. And then gradually you get yourself. Sleep is a very gradual process. It's not like I go and then I drop. And when you do, then you wake up immediately, because your body only went to sleep. Your mind was still working. So these energies, the question is, which energy will balance my energy? If you have too much of anything, the only good one is actually air, because air allows you to go to sleep and water allows you to go to sleep. These are the better energies for that. So bringing those two energies, whichever is more accessible to you and more desirable for you, into your awareness, because usually earth and fire are the ones that are like provoking and requesting activation and activities. So bringing water and air into your awareness and avoiding anything that requires more of a fire and earth, basically. So that's the best summary I can give you. Great question.
You want the last one?
Sure.
Okay. Same as when you are facing an ending, you stop and bring awareness to the dominant energy and bring on balance through inviting other energies to balance it out. Once you've gone through the ending, same as when you pray for a stranger, what energy or how the energy is sending back?
Did not understand the question.
Yeah, the ending is a little bit confusing for me. I think they're asking, so when you bring awareness to this energy and it automatically brings in a balance, how does it work once you've done it, that it's sending it back to that person or yourself? That's
is this person here? Is the person who's asking this question here?
Carlotta, do you want to go on and ask your question yourself?
Come on, Carlotta. Good to see you. Where are you?
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hello, Mitra. My connection is very bad, so I'm gonna, sorry for not writing it more clearly. I was trying to type
Good
as fast
to
as I
hear
could.
from you. Fantastic to have you. Carlotta is in Spain. Go ahead.
Yes. So the idea is same as the stranger is, and you made this thought of you're sending this prayer to a stranger, but you're getting energy back from him. It's making you feel good. Once you went through this ending in this mindful way, inviting all the energies, once you end it mindfully, is there any energy that the fact of the ending, that going through this ending is coming back to you, say? I don't know if I explained myself.
Yeah, I think I understand it. Let me see if I understood right. Are you saying what happens after that's done? What energy are you left with? Is that
exactly? Exactly.
Okay, good.
You're bringing all this energy to end this thing, and once it's ended, is this a thing sending you back energy once it's finished? This is the idea. Yeah.
Yes. So that's a very interesting. Obviously, she's a practitioner, you can tell. So that's a question of a deep practitioner. What happens is in that moment, so say, first of all, let me just explain, not every time you will get a good energy back. Please don't expect that. Most of the time, you may not get anything back. And this is not done to get anything back. I just shared that so that you know, sometimes you do. But what happens is in that moment, with or without the exchange, what happens is that you feel in that place of balance when you're walking almost, how do I call it, need free. That's what contentment is. When you ask, when people say, what is happiness? And I say contentment, but they say, but contentment is like asking nothing. I say, yes, that's happiness. That's the ultimate happiness. And I think we all, and I want you to bring that to your awareness. Like there are that moments that you just walk, and if somebody says, Mitra, what do you need? And I think about it, and I think like, really nothing. It's not nothing, which comes out of anger, but it's like nothing. This is just good as it is. And that's part of the, and I know that you're a practitioner, Carlotta. It's that practice that we say, may I accept things as they are. This is the balancing moment, that I get to an equanimity space, that I am really befriending things as they are. And then I do not have many burning needs. That doesn't mean I don't have passion and desires. That's different. But needs that are like, I want it, that brings this attachment and this like suffering as a result later on. You are left with a complete contentment. That's the best word I can find for it. Does that satisfy your question?
Absolutely, Mitra. So yeah, it's the ultimate teaching at the end.
Yes,
Absolutely. Thank
and it's
you.
ultimate reward too, Carlotta. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
ultimate. What else can be more rewarding than that?
So in fact, I'm very visual. It's kind of like the energy you're getting back from the endings is like the full-on spectrum of water, fire, and yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that's exactly what energy of love is. That contains everything, all the colors, all the energies, all the satisfactions in one space. And then you can actually move from there. That's what ending property. I'm very satisfied. You've had that's like wonderful food, and you just had beautiful, delicious food, and you didn't overeat, you didn't undereat. You're just very satisfied. And that's how we end things. And that's how we want to end this year, ending 2021 with that sense of delicious satisfaction. It doesn't mean we ignored the hardships and challenges. It doesn't mean that we really put a happy face on them. It just meant that we saw the reason for them. We learned from them. We forgave them. We learned, we grew, all those elements. We started, we initiated, we ended, we let go, we let in. We did all of that. And now we're in a place of balance. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for any of these questions that I'll send you. See which ones you can do. Maybe it's a simple thank you that you forgot to say. Maybe it's a simple, you know what? I don't like that person who does that, but I'm going to just let it go. Maybe it's something very simple. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's a belief. It's like what Richard was saying, that I'm not gonna associate air with like being airy fairy. Why can't I just let air be expansion? What is as I gave you both sides. I gave you this side and I gave you that side. Why can't we give both sides? Why can I see the side that is helpful for me and let it be, the other extreme for other people, but not for my attention. So I want to invite you to feed your attentions really knowingly, because that's the most precious asset we all have. I'm really thankful for your presence. I'm thankful for your questions, and I'm really glad that you came from all over the world at different hours and joined us. May this year be a beautiful learning arena and a wonderful context for the 2021 to end and 2022 to arrive. I'll see you next year.